Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has approved a bill setting the country on course for a referendum on changing the country's constitution, scheduled for April 16th. The public will now decide if they want to change how the country is governed.
Turkey is going through an important period. With the president's approval, now the Supreme Electoral Council will probably set the referendum date on the April 16th. I hope this constitutional amendment will be good for Turkey. Now the Turkish nation will decide.
Well, TRT World's Alican Ayanlar has more from the Turkish capital Ankara and joins us now live. Alican, is this the green light then for the referendum to take place on the 16th of April?
Well, Paul, it looks like it. For all intensive purposes, we can assume that Turkish voters will be heading to the polls on April 16th. I say assume because, as we've just heard from the Deputy Prime Minister Numan Kurtuluş, one step still needs to take place, and that's the sign-off or the announcement by the country's Supreme Election Council, and that's likely to happen on April the 16th. Now, the way that it works is that once the president signs off on this amendment package, as he did about 90 minutes ago, there needs to be a 60-day grace period, and the referendum, according to law, happens on the first Sunday after the conclusion of this 60-day grace period. Now, what will political parties and the president be doing over the next 2 months? Well, they'll be going out to the streets and holding rallies and meetings, trying to explain to the public what they'll be voting on. And according to the results, we could see a change in the system. Now, here's a closer look at how the country got here.
The transition to a presidential system has stirred much commotion. The ruling AK Party has argued that the changes will make governance more effective and bring in greater accountability. But the main opposition couldn't disagree more. Defeated in Parliament, the CHP now hopes they'll be able to convince the public to vote against the amendments.
I truly believe that the public will correct the game that was played in the parliament. This fault will be set right. We cannot lose ground in the 200-year struggle for democracy.
The president will be granted more executive powers, and the role of prime minister would be scrapped. He will also appoint all top public officials. The changes would also allow the president to maintain ties with a political party. The parliament will have the power to investigate the president if needed. And the president nor the parliament won't be able to make changes to the founding and core articles of the Constitution, like Turkey being a secular and democratic republic. And that's one of the main points the ruling AK Party has been trying to make since the amendment package passed in Parliament.
I'd specifically like to underline that this 18-article constitutional amendment package is not about a regime change. It's about changing the way the country is governed. It's a proposal to bring greater efficiency to the executive branch, and this is what the Parliament has voted on.
So when the public goes to the poll in mid-April, they'll be given this ballot paper. And the question is fairly simple. Yes or no? Are you or are you not in favor of the constitutional amendment package? And according to the result, the country could move from its current parliamentary system to an executive presidential one. Paul?
Alican, it's a simple question, but as with all referendums, it's not without controversy. Critics saying that it could give too much power to the office of the presidency. What are the concerns and what are the arguments on both sides?
Well, it depends on who you ask, but keep in mind, let's not forget that this proposed change isn't something new, completely out of the blue, with the sole intention of concentrating more power around the office of the presidency. Previous presidents, prime ministers, opposition members, and even journalists had debated this in past decades. Back then, there wasn't the political will necessary to pass this through. Yes, when you look at the details, there are slight differences, but in essence, a change from the parliamentary system to a presidential one isn't something new. But the proponents of this argument, like President Erdogan as well as the ruling AK Party, say, look, this is not a regime change. Turkey chose its regime back in 1923, which is a secular social democracy, and that will not change. The change is how the country is governed, and that's needed because according to them, there are some inefficiencies in the current system whereby there's the president as well as a prime minister. So, and according to them, they need this change because Turkey is going through some troubling times.
Okay, Alican, thank you.